Okay, so we are here today with Martin,
What's up, people?
me, Anna, and Andrew. We're gonna be talking about meditation today.
Hmm.
We'll first start with the joke. It's Martin's turn to say a joke. To tell.
Should I tell the joke?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you know, I'm working in the hospital. Like I'm a internship in hospital right now, and I'm working with many elderly people. And sometimes we tell each other jokes. So uh, one day, this guy told me this joke. There is a guy after a very very severe car accident. And he woke up from coma, and the doctor tells him like, I got two news for you. One is good. The another one is even better. Which one do you want to hear first? And the guy's like, okay, like tell me the good news. And he goes, we lost your slippers, but the good thing is you won't need them anymore because we had to amputate both legs. And he's like, oh shit, man. Like, okay, tell me the better one, yeah. And he come close to him, and he goes like, you see that hot nurse over there? I hit that last night. That's it.
Joke.
This was one that some old person told you.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like in his mid 70s, but very nice guy.
Still had his sense of humor.
Mm.
You don't lose that.
So we talk about meditation.
Okay.
Obviously, we are three people, and we all have three different types of meditation that we practice, which
Do you
is
think so? Do you think like each one of us like do a different type of meditation? Do you
well,
think there's a difference?
we have different needs and different skills. So, some
What type of meditation do you guys do?
what do you do?
Why just go for long walks and have hot baths? I see that as meditation.
What do you do when you do your walks?
Why do breathing exercises and I just immerse myself in nature? I think that's a good thing to do.
Mhm.
Try and walk at the same pace.
Why can't you do the sitting meditation?
I just find that for me, I need a distraction.
Mhm. And
Cool.
you are quite easily distracted.
Yeah.
So,
If I try and do typical, what you'd see as like a stereotypical meditation where you just sit there and try to do the body scan and all of this, just I find it too, I get agitated. I need some kind of distraction. I get less agitated if I've got things to distract me and if I've got fresh air and yeah,
what about you, Martin?
nature.
Basically, I practice two types of meditations. I do one type of meditation in the evening before I go to bed. I maybe just like put some music on, take my headphones on, and I just try to calm myself down. I focus on breathing and just relax. Just like prepare my body and my mind for sleeping. I'm taking a very like long and deep breaths, and I'm just really trying not to focus on anything. I do
You,
that for like
you do Wim Hof method, don't you? Can you explain,
that's
can you
that's another one type I want to talk about.
explain to people
Yeah,
what it is?
that's usually the type of meditation I do in the morning or during the day when I feel like I'm either tired or stressed, and I just need to like reset my mind, then
What is the meditation?
prepare, prepare for the day.
That's more like an invigorating thing rather.
Yeah, and that's more like stimulating type of meditation. Uh, I'm sometimes do the guided, not Wim Hof, but sometimes I do guided meditations.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like I try to visualize a lot. Like what's gonna happen today, what are my plans, what are my goals, and like how I'm feeling about it. Just so these are the two types of meditations that I do. I either meditate to calm myself down, and prepare for the sleep, or meditate to hype myself up, to prepare for the day. And sometimes, not too often, but sometimes I use some of the Wim Hof techniques. I don't really do the Wim Hof method, like the whole meditation when you do the breathing exercises, the very deep breaths, and then you like play with your oxidative capacity and then taking a cold shower. I don't do that no more.
Why don't you do it anymore?
Sorry?
Why don't you do it anymore?
I don't really know. Like it was pretty exhausting, to be honest. I tried it a couple of times and I had very interesting experience. Like
Do you think about cold baths? Because I used to take them and
I used to do all the cold therapies, and I just find that in this country it's cold enough in the winter. I do it in the summer. In the summer, I think it's really good. But I think if you're in a country with the cold climate and you're already pretty stressed out, having another stressor isn't necessarily a good idea. So the heat therapies in the winter I prefer.
well, not just that, but some people I don't think really react well to the cold.
No, especially if you've got some African in you.
If
You don't see many black people doing the cold immersion. It's just Scandinavians mainly and crazy Dutch people like Wim Hof.
I'm doing some sort of like cold therapy or cold exposure every single morning. I just like I'm gonna go into the shower first thing in the morning. You know, I take a hot shower, and like the last 1 minute to 90 seconds, I go like as cold as I can. You know, and it might be some type of meditations or like cold exposure, and I really like that. I think it's very very good. It's also very very stimulating, and I think it's just a great way to start the day. You know.
they say that cold water is good for depression.
Yeah.
If like long term you're taking antidepressants.
Especially if you struggle just to get out of bed, if you force yourself to do it, then
Oh, I really struggle to get out of bed.
I'll just pour a bucket of cold water on you.
Stava, that's rigid.
It feels very very refreshing. It's great.
I hate it.
It is good for a short period of time, I think. So if I was to do it, I would, how I did it before is just gradually making the water cold rather than.
So how would you recommend someone who wants to meditate but don't know how to start? Because obviously there are different types, as we just described, different types of meditation.
I would definitely start with the guided meditations though, because I think like for someone who never did any sort of meditation before, it's just really hard to let go, you know, and to don't think about anything. It's almost impossible in my opinion.
Well, I don't think that generally the idea is not to think about anything. The idea
Yeah,
is
but it's not to think about the stuff you want to think about, you know. There are many people who just cannot control that. So what I would do, I would start with the guided meditations, you know. Just you sit down and close your eyes and you listen to the voice, you know, and when you listen, you don't focus on what do you think. You think on what the other person says. So guided meditations, I think, is a great way to start.
and breathing.
What do you think, guys?
We've been doing one twice a week at the Maggie Center.
They don't know what Maggie Center is.
How would you explain?
It's a center for people with cancer. Cheerful place. And they do like a relaxation sessions.
And it's good for me because it's visualizations.
Yeah, I used to do them when I had the radiotherapy, because there was like a nurse coming to the hospital doing it with patients. So that was good, because obviously the whole experience is quite distressing. So having some kind of mindfulness exercise or relaxation can be really good.
Guys, what do you think about taking psychedelics? Do you think like it can be like a sort type of meditation when you take like LSD, you having a trip?
I think it can be useful, but the problem is sometimes you just have to do with people that really know what they are doing.
Or you might be predisposed to
Having some kind
having
of
a really bad reaction
and
to
it can trigger some mental issues.
psychosis.
Some people can start having, I don't know, schizophrenia or something. So So I think you have to be careful. Because these
Definitely.
days, a lot of people are doing ayahuasca. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to be careful because of my epilepsy with a lot of these things. And also, my brother, when he was having cannabis, he had really real problems with just the psychosis and
Hmm.
being paranoid and being hyper alert.
You had those issues too, didn't you, Martin? Because you smoked weed when you were in Netherlands.
Yeah, smoked a lot, and I just like got into the point when, yeah, I was just smoking, to it became a habit. Jesus, like, yeah, I didn't do it. Maybe I didn't do it for fun, but I don't think you can be really addicted, but I think uh sort of I kind of was.
Mm.
Processes.
Like alcohol.
Sorry.
Mm.
It can
Yeah,
start in processes.
I think I was just bored. I think I was just bored, and I was looking for a way to raise my dopamine. So yeah, I was
Yes,
smoking
that's
weed.
like antidepressants, for instance,
Mm.
or anxiety medication. If you feel really anxious, it actually makes the symptoms worse. So it actually can
I think,
make you really crazy, these medications.
yeah, but I still think it can be very, very beneficial to someone. But you gotta know how to use it, and you gotta use it with a purpose. Don't use it just to get high. Like use it with a purpose.
I know that they've been using LSD, for instance, in medicine,
Yeah. And also for concentration. It can help you to concentrate.
or cannabinoids they were using for cancer patients or like patients with chronic pain, because the cannabis can help, the CBD
Yeah.
can help reduce the pain.
Well, THC can help in small amounts as well, just with sickness
Mm.
and pain.
Yeah, but if we get back into the meditations, I just think like the world will be much, much greater, much better place if people like know how to meditate and maybe meditate more often. And if they would learn how to be with themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the biggest issue with meditations, that some people just cannot like stand themselves out. They cannot be alone with just their thoughts.
But don't you think that's also just type of personality? Some people are more hyper.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're hyper, you gotta be able to be with yourself.
Mm.
Or at least I think you should be.
I know, but I think people who are more extroverted
Hmm.
maybe struggle with that more than people like us who are, for instance, more introverted.
Well, I'm introverted, but I can get these hyperactive episodes
Mm.
where going for a walk is best for
But
me.
that's
Need to
but
get rid of that
you
energy.
know what you have to do. You go for a walk. So, for instance, for you the meditation per se, sitting down wouldn't work.
Yeah, just go out for a walk and kill a few people and come back, and I'm calm and I'm
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Just know where to hide the bodies.
And what type of meditations do you do, Anna?
I do a lot of breathing meditation and body scan.
Your breathing is kind of like the Buteyko breathing, is
Yeah, I on average I breathe maybe like 6-7 times per minute. I generally breathe quite slowly.
shallow. Mm,
Mm.
it's
Maybe
good.
explain what's Wutego breathing.
Well, it's this kind of shallow breathing where you breathe in and you hold it,
Mm.
and then you gradually breathe out.
Yeah, but
And
then
it just
also, how do you call the one where you block one nostril and breathe with the other one?
can't remember what it's called,
How
but
is
I
it
know
called?
what you mean.
It's that's used in yoga, for instance.
I'm using that one with my athletes. Like I've read about it from uh from Coach Paul Quinn, and basically explains that if you block the right nostril and you breathe through your left one, it has a calming effect. Like it calms you down. So it's good to do it before go to bed or if you want to meditate. And if you block the left one and you breathe through your right one, it activates your sympathetic response. So it hypes you up and wakes you up. So we use the right one like before the practice or before a set, and we breathe in through the left one like after practice when you want to calm down. Or it's very, very interesting, and I think it works.
How is meditation linked to physiotherapy? Because I believe you can't have good body without having a good mind. You say that sounds like such a cliche.
Well, you hold a lot of tension as well, don't you? And then it goes down the chain.
Meditation is super important, not only for physical therapy, but also for strength and conditioning. Like meditation decrease the cortisol levels. That's basically it. It calms you down. It decreases the level of stress that you go through. And that can be sometimes like the most beneficial thing for people who struggle with injury or with any physiological or psychological pain. Yeah. So meditation is very, very beneficial.
Can you maybe explain people about these neurotypes that you talked about in the past?
Yeah, the origin is actually from Chinese medicine. Like you got the four types of personalities. You got the wood type, fire type, water type, and the earth type. And uh, I think it was Braverman. Yeah, never mind. Basically, yeah, it explains that each type of personality had this like dominant neurotype, neurotransmitter, and it can be dopamine or acetylcholine or GABA. And basically, once you learn like which neurotransmitter is your dominant one and which one is the one you like in the most, you understand how to work with your body, how to control your body. And
which one are you?
Sorry?
Which one are you?
I'm dopamine dominant and I'm lacking acetylcholine, which basically means I'm very sensitive to dopamine. So I'm very like motivation driven and very competitive. But I got problem with like I'm with problem with calming myself down, and basically I'm like shit, how do you call it? Not yeah, like hyperactive. Yeah. A little bit hyperactive.
Diagnose Andrew.
I'm probably
There's actually very good test that you can do online for free. It's called bravermantest.com. And it's like 15-minute tests. You get questions A, B, C, D, and you fill it out, and it just tell you what type of, well, not what type, but what neurotransmitter is a dominant one, and what type of person are you. And it's a very good thing. Like
the name again of the website?
bravermantest.com. Braverman. There's the name of, he was psychologist, or the name of the doctor who came up with this test. Braverman, Dr. Braverman.
What do you think is the biggest, what's the word, like human disease that we have to fight with? And meditation.
Not COVID.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's COVID. And meditation would help.
I think stupidity.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah, not for real. I think stupidity is like people became too lazy and too comfortable. They don't seek answers no more. They just like good with everything that's given to them. Yeah.
How do you fight with that? How do you deal with that ignorance?
With knowledge and education.
I just think
spirituality, like
a lot of people are stupid.
Yeah. And they would They would acquire knowledge from sources that fit their own biases rather than seeking something different that challenges the way of thinking.
But I also think these days the problem is that there is so much information that you don't really know what's true, what's. So, for instance, how do you search for information, Martin?
How do I say what?
How do you search for information?
Whew. I don't really know if I can answer like how.
How do you search for information, Andrew?
Well, it depends what it is. If it's
I'm
scientific information, then I know because I've
You know,
been
some
educated
journals
to know.
and,
Yeah.
I've never rely on just one source, you know, and
question everything.
I just wanna like see the both sides, you know. I just wanna be able to make my own opinion of things, you know. I just don't like read something or heard something from TV and I say like, oh yeah, like that's true, like that's the way it is. Like no, I wanna like see it from the both sides, you know, being able to create my own opinion.
Like the Israel-Palestine conflict, I try and see both sides of it, even though it's because each side will have their own narrative of what, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
the other's the baddie and
Amen.
why. And
I really don't want to talk about that one. So
no, we're not going
Me neither, don't
into
worry.
depth on it, but just it's interesting how many different opinions you have on
that's
that.
a very, very good example.
It's really interesting. You are in Prague and we
Mhm.
are in Oxford. And Prague is so nice. You have such a nice background.
It's like winter here,
And we have such horrible.
freezing my
It's
balls
the
off.
end of May and it feels like,
It's wet and cold and cloudy.
yeah, February. How do you
It's
do
getting
it?
really nice.
In terms of meditation, how do you deal with seasonal,
Affective disorder.
seasonal affective disorder? Are you affected by that?
I am like, and I know that since I was like maybe 17, you know, like always around like November, December, I just burn out, you know.
Mm.
I just
You're
I
just,
just feel like
you
Yeah.
just
so unmotivated and depressed, you know, and every single year, you know. So I really, really got to change that. I guess I have to like change my location and move somewhere, you know, like Dominican Republic, I guess.
you're the same. You
Mm.
want to move to south of Spain.
Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
Mm. No, this country is really shit.
Sunlight has a huge effect on your like mental, physical, and like your status.
That's another thing
It's so important.
I want to talk about, because obviously meditation is something that you do yourself, but in terms of uh, multivitamins and how do you call them?
Supplements.
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 How do you supplement, Andrew, for instance?
Well, I find the magnesium really helps with my sleep and just stress levels.
Mhm.
But sometimes it works too well and it kind of knocks me out, like the other day. Just
What about vitamin D?
Like speaking of supplements, I'm experimenting with that a lot, especially the one I take like before my sleep. Like when I tell somebody I supplement my sleep, they look at me like, "What the hell, man? Like, are you retarded?" Like, you know, I just go to bed.
I'm using melatonin.
Mm.
That really helps.
But I don't think melatonin really helps you, you know, to
No.
fall asleep and to sleep properly. Like what melatonin is basically the hormone that you produce when you sleep deep, right?
Mhm.
Basically, like yeah,
well, it has a number of functions.
yeah. It's not really only related to sleep. It's related to metabolism and digestion and immunity, of course. But when it comes to sleeping, I of course like to take magnesium. I like to take bisglycinate. I think that's the is the most beneficial one. I usually take it like 2 hours before I go to bed. Then I like inositol, which is I think B8. It's a serotonin receptor. Sorry,
You
huh?
are taking a lot of stuff.
I'm taking a lot of stuff. Yeah, but I like to like experiment with that, and see like what supplements have what effect on me and what works and what not.
Isn't the
But
problem?
yeah, I take
Isn't the problem though? How long should you be taking these things? Because
the results.
if you only take stuff for a month, you can't
Yeah.
really see the result.
I think it really depends on like what you're taking, but approximately I think you should take a supplement at least 1 to 3 months to be able to see if it actually works or not. Like especially when you're talking about magnesium, like when I recommend some of my patients who are like really low on magnesium to take some magnesium, it actually hypes them up, Like I take them like take this magnesium before you go to bed, you will sleep better. They take the magnesium and then energy level just spikes up, when they like so like
Because there are
energetic.
different types of magnesium, aren't they?
No. It's because they have like a severe deficit on magnesium. And when you're like liking something so much, when you actually take it, it has opposite effect.
Mm.
So you should always like take that in consideration when you take some supplements, that you need some time to actually be able to see the results.
Mm. And on that note, let's finish. Let's say some final words about meditation.
That's it. Okay.
Let's continue talking.
Yeah. Eat meat, people. Get your sunlight and fucking meditate because it's gonna change your life. And I bet my life on that.
You motherfucker.
And get some activity during the day.
No cap.
Otherwise, you'll be hyperactive.
Mm. Something else?
Stay safe. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Unless they're the right kind of
just
drugs.
LSD,
Microdosing.
mushrooms.
Fuck it. Like, do drugs. If you're responsible, do drugs, kids. Like, why not? Yeah, I'm gonna be a horrible day one day.